Hello and welcome to Wait, For Real?
A true crime and paranormal podcast. I'm Grace.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to our YouTube edition of the podcast.
That's
right. We've been talking about doing this for a while.
Yes.
It's a little late, but it's still here. That's fine. Everything's fine. Why'd you stop looking at me?
I thought you were going to keep talking.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's like the raw, unedited version of us just being chaotic. But we promised you guys a video, and so now you're going to be watching some stellar content.
Yes.
You want to explain what we're doing?
Yep. So we linked up with Orlando's American Ghost Adventures to do a 4-hour ghost tour, and we brought our friend RJ with us to film.
And he's behind the camera right now. Say hi, RJ.
Is.
Hi.
Yeah, so it was an incredible 4 hours. It was so much fun. We loved it. Ting and Chris were our tour guides. They were incredible. We love them so much. We're gonna make sure that we link all their information below and make sure you guys are aware of like the opportunities that you could take with that team as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about like what they're gonna see or?
Yeah, so we're not going to include the full 4 hours. That would be intense.
4 hours of just us wandering around.
Yeah.
That'd be horrifying.
And we couldn't film everywhere that we went. So we're going to start off on Church Street in downtown Orlando, where we talk about ley lines and the 1901 Church Street fire.
Yes. And you'll see throughout the episode, I guess, is that like we're using different tools while we're actually there. So you'll see, okay, you know all the names more than me.
Dowsing rods, the REM pod, the spirit box, and the EMF reader.
And then we also use flashlights.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they would be like loosely twisted to the offsetting. And if a ghost was there, they would be asked to turn it on.
Yeah. Is there anything else we have to let them know before they get started?
That's it.
All right. Well, for this one, I'd make sure to leave the lights on.
Have you guys ever heard of ley lines?
Yes, I have, but you haven't, I'm sure.
Ley lines are longitude and latitude lines that run naturally through the earth, but in the scientific world, when they cross and make an X, basically it's
like a
supercharged
portal
and becomes
almost, right?
portals
Yeah.
and corridors for ghosts to come out. So supposedly somewhere along this intersection that has happened.
Wow.
Other portals and vortexes where ley lines are laid at are Area 51, the Sedonas, the pyramids, Stonehenge are a couple of places. The Suicide Forest in Japan.
Yeah.
All those places have in common is the
Ley
ley
lines.
lines. Just like
Wow.
So
awesome.
every building on this street corner is haunted with ghost stories, with ghost sightings, and all the paranormal activity that you can think of. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet for paranormal. The other thing that you'll find near ley lines is a place of worship. One street over is called Church Street.
Yep.
Because of all the churches that were on it.
Yep.
And if you look through the trees, you can see a little steeple.
Yep.
So that is the church. So we have a place of worship. We got our ghost stories. We got our ghost sightings. The third thing you'll find is place of burial. You guys see any graveyards, cemeteries, headstones, or anything?
No.
No.
It's like, no. Are we
No,
supposed
right?
to?
Yeah. Well, you saw the church, right?
Yeah.
Wait.
Behind churches.
Oh, the cemetery.
Cemeteries.
Is there a
and
cemetery
graveyards,
behind that?
right? Let's take a look. Do you see any?
Oh God, are we standing on
We're
it?
standing on them. It's like
poltergeist.
Savannah.
They built that brand new building on top of a cemetery / graveyard.
I don't like that.
Now, the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard. Cemetery is just a free plot of land with dead bodies on it.
Okay.
Graveyards are always religion affiliated. So they're
Wow.
always
I did not know that.
I didn't either. I thought they were
and
interchangeable
churches.
words.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so that's
cool.
the difference between the two. And as you can see, this beautiful building out of the 4 is the newest one.
Yeah.
So Ventrex, X marks the spot. That was a place
That's funny.
of our Seminole graveyard. And then when the English moved in, they took it over. And then they built a schoolhouse on top of it. There's a little church there.
Do they have to disclose that?
No. So that's a good question. In the state of Florida, you do not have to disclose that a building is haunted because it is not a physical defect.
Yeah.
Like New Orleans, you have to tell the building is haunted.
Like
So you'll see-
also if you rent like a landlord doesn't have to tell you if someone died in your property.
Are you a firefighter down here?
Not in downtown.
Okay, I was wondering.
But there's always a fire truck and an ambulance that comes on my door. So
Yeah.
this is that's good to film if you want to film that. That's kind of cool. So Now that the fire truck is on there, we're going to talk about this building right here across the street, which is called Shots. The brick
Yes.
building.
Yeah.
That is where Orlando's first fire started.
Really?
So it technically happened in a fire, in a hat shop over there. They stomped it out. That one didn't count. This one was in a bakery, and it took out several neighborhoods and everything else.
Wow.
So that's when the landscape started, basically. Every major city always has one major fire. So this is where ours started, right here.
Okay.
So when they rebuilt downtown Orlando, they said all buildings have to be made of brick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, mine thing is going crazy. I don't know if it's technology or
It is
what's
technology
happening.
because we have the utilities right here.
Okay.
underneath us, and we're in line with the street lights.
Okay.
So like I said, a lot of the other ghost tour companies go, oh no,
I'm
this
glad that you pointed that
Yeah.
out.
this is the most haunted place, therefore that is a ghost standing next to you.
Yeah.
So this building here, you can see even the windowsills are made of brick.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Delaney Pool building. So
Man,
that's
that's-
where Orlando's first fire started.
Mathers
And
upstairs.
that's also Mathers, and they are quite haunted, but they won't admit to it.
Oh man,
Yeah.
come on.
The bouncer will tell you, I've seen shadow figures through here, things walk through the walls and stuff like that. So it's really, really cool. Now, because that building is built of brick and cement, Mr. Gordon Rogers, who owns this building here, was an English social member. This is a social club, and he is supposedly said to be still standing in this window right here. And he likes to wave. Now, is he a residual haunt because he's just waving to wave because he waves all the time? Or is he an intelligent haunt and actually
Right.
sees us and is waving to us to say hello?
Yeah.
I think he's an intelligent haunt and he's waving to us. Now, I've taken people on this tour and we look up there and they'll go, Ting, I see somebody there. Okay, describe him. And most people will say, of course, he's a white gentleman because he's an Englishman, wearing a white shirt, tweed colored pants with brown hair.
Wow.
Very specific. Now, if one person just told me that, okay. But when multiple people tell me that
Yeah.
on different tours throughout the years, there's something to it.
Yeah.
Now, this is an art gallery, so it is free to get inside. It is super cool. If you guys had chosen the 5 o'clock tour time, we would have investigated here first.
Okay.
Okay.
Close after 6.
Right.
This is on my museum tour also, so we can do this one and the courthouse.
Okay.
All in the same trip.
We're just
Super,
moving
super
right
cool.
in. We're doing on every tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is like super cool here also. I will tell you, one of the rooms that we've gone in, lights started blinking as soon as I walked
What?
in. And
That's
they
what I
looked,
want to
and we had
happen
the
on
staff
this
members come in, and they go, "Ting, that doesn't happen." I go, "Yeah, I kind of figured that, but let's have them stop that this time." We even shut down the lights, turned off the power, reset it, and it stopped at that point.
Wow.
But they definitely know that we're here. Now, there's been police reports where they see a woman in white walk through the paintings and stuff like that, and it sets off the alarm, and there's people like this walking around. The police officer will come by and go, "Excuse me, did you guys see anything, anybody come in this building?"
Yeah.
And a couple of the witnesses will say, well, a lady in white just walked through the picture. And so in their police report,
Wow.
you'll see quotation marks, witnesses state, lady in white. walks through
Wow.
painting.
That is
That's
amazing.
so cool.
So it's documented that they report this kind of stuff. So that is a really, really cool building. Mr. Gordon Rogers himself did not like the brick look, so he went with the heavy timbers. They said as long as it is fireproof, so he made everything with heavy wood. Think about it, if you ever tried to light wood in your fireplace, you have to like soak it in gasoline and you gotta
Yes.
light it up, you gotta
Yeah.
have all this kindling and stuff. Basically the same concept. It's such thick wood, so condensed that a fire can't do anything.
Yeah.
This is all imported. This is all, tin and everything
Yeah.
that we painted over, imported from England.
Wow.
This is the exact same color it was in the early 1900s. So if we were to time travel, all the scenery, of course, is going to be different. You would recognize this building and go,
Wow.
I'm going to find a Magnolia. I know exactly where to land on that.
What?
Because it looked exactly the same as
Wow.
this. Right?
That's so cool.
It's one of those things where, let's hide something here, and if we have the time travel, we'll know where we're at.
Yeah.
Now, with all these high rises around, these buildings look small, right?
Yeah.
Back then, this is one of the biggest buildings. At
Wow.
one point, this housed the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was big, gigantic paper rollers in here. There was a bowling alley at one point in time. A theater at one point in time. I mean, incredible. Now, Mr. Gordon Rogers himself died in England. He went back after the Depression and everything. But his heart, his soul, all his life savings was in this building itself. So I think in the afterworld, he has come back to his beloved building. So it's
That's
really
amazing.
cool. Now, the other ghost store company will tell you guys that this is the brothel. No, it's not. It was called
Wow.
a gentleman's club.
Okay.
But
because-
back then,
The different verbiage, different meaning. The gentleman's club back then meant the high politics, the high end men would come in here and discuss what they were going to do for the city and the projects they would create and stuff like that. So the other company took the Gentlemen's Club as a
Right.
one building over there.
Yeah.
You're off by one. This building over here is the Edward Kool building. Mr. Edward Kool was a German immigrant. That is a super cool building also. Houses the basement, which is a bar. The top bar is called the attic. So it's kind of a neat place. One of our friends back in the 90s owned it. It was called the AKA Lounge. And we also just researched, and this is where the Arthur Murray Dance School was. So multiple floors, and they could critique you. Oh, left foot, right foot, twirl. Because they could see over everything. But when it turned into a bar, multiple level floors and drinking, not such a good thing. So they renovated it and made the floors one even floor. And when they see the ghosts now, the dancing ghosts, they can only see it from the up.
Oh,
Because the
wow.
original floor is what
Wow.
they remember. So it's a residual haunt.
That's
Now we do know
amazing.
that Disney came in 1971, right? So when he came down to downtown Orlando to announce the opening of Disney World and stuff like that, supposedly urban legend has it that he heard that story, and that's why you see the dancing ghosts in the haunted mansion.
Wow. That's cool.
I love that.
I would say that it's probably going to be true because he likes to take urban legends from cities and create
Right.
the stories, right? That's how you got Pocahontas,
Yep.
Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, because those are all urban legends that people would tell stories, and he just created it into the Disney version. So that is why you have the dancing ghosts.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
And the haunted mansions and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
Now, Ventrex, I already told you that was a cemetery and everything else. So this is also a place that has a 10,000 square basement. They
What?
can't rent it out.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
Well,
to rent
yeah.
it. Because how far is a body buried?
6
feet under, right?
Yeah.
Most basement, depending on what year it's built, is either 8 feet tall to 16 feet tall, or even 14.
How can you have a basement here?
Correct. This is actually dry, so they do have a basement down there. So when we called the leasing agent and stuff like that, they did not know anything about it. They didn't know that that was a cemetery. And I go, that's why you guys can't rent it out. Now, the escape room that we were at was going to rent it out downstairs, but I think the economy is taking a little bit of a turn.
Yeah.
That's where they were going to go.
Yeah.
They had to redo this so many times already, so it's kind of interesting.
Wow.
And I just find it funny that Ventrex is here because I was his X marks the spot.
Yeah.
Now, over here is their little maintenance shaft. You can look down all the way.
What?
Just to give you an idea how deep this is and how tall.
Their food's really good. Fun
Have you
fact.
tried this
I
one?
have.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Grace.
Their food's delicious.
Take a look. See how deep it is?
Whoa.
Remember, this was a cemetery at one point in time.
I was like,
so
That's a no for me.
I can't really see.
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
So you know
can.
there's a basement that runs just like this.
That is insane.
Yeah. But so we
I'd
had
love
a
to go
news
in the
reporter.
basement, to be honest.
She calls me up and she goes, Ting, tell me the story of Pine and Magnolia. And I go, well, first you tell me what your incident is first.
Yes.
She goes, I'm walking down the sidewalk in front of Ventrex, but back then it wasn't called Ventrex. And she goes, this lady comes and shoulder bumps me. Just da-da-da-da-da. Continues on. She goes, what the heck?
Yeah.
She stops in the middle of the sidewalk. Her husband is continually walking. Turns around and goes, what are you doing? And she goes, did you not see that rude lady just shoulder bumped you?
No
He
way.
said, what lady?
What lady, sweetie?
No. Nope.
This is a news reporter telling me this.
What?
So I told her about this, the basically the cemetery being here and the graveyard being here and stuff like that. And she's just flabbergasted. The other thing that a lot of people will see through here is 3 ladies in black and white with no head walking down this path.
I'm not gonna be able to
What?
walk home alone ever again.
Here's the thing. Remember I told you this was a graveyard, right?
Yeah.
This is a Seminole burial ground at one point in time. So I don't think there's so much, black and white is basically probably nuns to come save the
Yeah.
savages. And they got their heads taken off.
Wow.
So some really cool stories. Suicide jumping off of this building.
Yeah.
Sometimes they will see a body just leaping off of there.
Really?
You can see these news reports and stuff like that. So a lot of residual haunts through this area.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you look at these buildings, you just don't realize it. Now this building up here, where the dancing ghosts are at,
Yeah.
that is the Edward Kool building. He's a German immigrant. He died on the 2nd and the 3rd floor. There's a staircase there. When it was what we call the attic bar up there, we had a bachelorette party. This is on our Facebook. You can look at the video. And one of our tour guys goes, hey, we know this is Edward Kool's building and everything. Well, we know that he haunts it.
Yeah.
And he goes, they all stood on the staircase and they're all been drinking and stuff. They're like, come down, Eddie. This orb comes down and shoots right around them.
Nope.
She's filming this, and she goes, you can hear
Oh
that
my
she's
gosh.
so
I'm gonna pass on that
I
one.
think Eddie just came down, kind of thing. Just swings on down.
Wow.
So many cool stories. Like I said, our friend owned it as a bar called the AKA Lounge.
Yeah.
And they would set up their music stuff up there, and right before the show, all the electronics will go.
Whoa.
So it's kind of interesting. They'll go put in Eddie. Their son, who was a really young, probably 4 or 5 years old, would go to kindergarten but would get out early, so they would bring him up here while they were renovating and stuff like that. And he would run around and play and be happy and go, Eddie, come on, he's out. But they noticed when he got home, there was no Eddie. They were like, do you want Eddie to come to dinner? Because we're going to have so-and-so. And he goes, why would Eddie come? They're like, well, he's your friend.
Kids scare the hell out of me.
Eddie stays at work. And so his mom goes, why does Eddie stay at work? He goes, oh, that's where he lives. Like that. Really innocent, nothing, you know. He goes, she told me the story, and I go, you do know who Eddie is, right? And she goes, no. I go, Edward Cool.
Oh my gosh.
His building.
I can't have
So, you
children
see what I'm
solely for this
saying?
reason. My child would be like, hey, you know, like, let's bring my imaginary friend to dinner. I'm like, no, put it back.
Right.
Send them home.
You already
his
have enough
mom
fears.
was at work with him one day, and she goes, what's going on? Who are you talking to? And he goes, well, Eddie's standing on the staircase. Can't you see him? So
Oh
it's
my
kinda cool.
gosh.
One of the bar managers here one
Show
night
the
was
kid
telling me
out.
a story, and he goes, Ting, I didn't really believe in ghosts till I worked into this building. And I go, what happened? And he goes, we have a light bulb right above the cash register, and it keeps going missing. So we had a team meeting, and I said, who keeps taking the light bulb down? And all my coworkers or all the staff members go, well, it's not us. We like it because we need to count our change down, get our tips, and get our money right. And so he goes, okay, so you guys don't want to be smartasses, right? Takes a little magic marker and puts an X on the light bulb and screws it up there. Doesn't tell them about this.
Yeah.
He finds the light bulb in the ice tray, in different drawers,
So-
bathroom, in his desk drawer. He says the coolest place I found the light bulb tank was when we got a beer shipment, and I know for a fact nobody else has touched this beer shipment except for the guy delivering it. And he puts it on the dolly. I bring it upstairs. I lean it up against the wall. I go to open it,
Nice.
and there's my freaking light bulb with the X on it in the sealed beer bottle box.
No
I was like, that is so
way.
cool. Our tour guides have gone in there. You see how we have a bag?
Yeah.
So you'll see Christopher, he has a camera bag kind of thing, and we have our meters in there. And one of the girls, one of the meters was missing. She only had 9 people, we have 10 meters in there. And she's like, did somebody borrow a meter by chance? And she knows that she hasn't left the body, but she's like frantically looking for it. And she goes, I can't find a meter. She goes outside, she calls me, she goes, Ting, I think I lost a meter. I'm like, well, just calm down, look for it afterwards. Just retrace your steps, because these are expensive meters and stuff like that. She goes back up there and she does the rest of her tours. She comes back out, she goes to the next building, the meter's back in her.
What?
Nope.
She knows it. She goes,
Oh
I emptied it out.
my
I looked everywhere. She had everybody look in it. And when she goes to the next place,
Nope.
the meter's back in.
Wow.
That's Edward Cole. He is a prankster. Bartenders have told me so many stories. The downstairs where the basement is, they have a long bar. Slow night, one beer bottle will drop. She'll clean it up randomly. And at the very far end of the bar, as soon as she gets that last piece of glass and another one, she'll go, Eddie, stop it.
my
I'm doing this all night.
That's what I yell at Daniel. I'm like, Daniel, give it a rest. I'm tired. I'm like, don't make me get out of bed right now. No
We walked
way.
by this when we were going to Hamburger Mary's, and I was like, I bet this place is haunted.
Yes. Because I said it just looks haunted.
Yes,
Thank you.
I knew it. I'm so glad we get to go in here.
She's so excited.
Whoa, they have, oh, that's Hawkers HQ. I was like, hey, there's a Hawkers here.
HQ. What's HQ?
Yeah, that's their headquarters. There's not a
That
restaurant.
means Christopher is here.
Wait, what? Oh,
Christopher is here.
I thought you meant like there was a ghost named Christopher here, and I was like, all right. Yeah, I saw people upstairs, so I,
I did
didn't know.
too.
Very good.
This is huge.
Yeah, this is massive.
Let me do something real quick.
I don't know about that.
That lets us know that we're here.
She just turns the camera off. She's like, all right, you guys can go.
You were like, you want to see the real ghost story? She flips all the lights. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Right.
At this point, we have entered the train station, what used to be the train station, which was first established in 1899. Over the years, it's also been a hotel. More recently, it's been a bar and a restaurant, and right now it's being renovated. We decided when we were inside the train station that it was best not to record. This was Ting's suggestion, as we didn't want to disturb any possible activity we could catch. As you can see, the stairs there are blocked off. That's where the renovations are happening. One of the cooler stories that she told us was that the construction crew had been coming in and out, and she had a group in there, and it seemed like someone had gone upstairs. When they asked the construction members about this, they said, no. Why do you ask? And they said that's because there were footprints of sawdust and stuff on the floor, and then the construction crew went up there and they even saw footprints up there, and no one knows where they came from.
That floor that you guys see there has been there since 1924.
Wow.
And that floor could talk. It would have some great stories for you. All the blood, guts, and glory that it has witnessed through here. You notice this looks like a New Orleans style building,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So the women would stand right up here. They would have a view of the train, and when you were unloading your stuff, basically they would know exactly who the rich person was so they could target them. Basically because the more stuff that you carried off the train, the more wealth you had.
Right.
The people that came to the town of Jernigan, which was the name of the town then at that point, was basically men. Women and children stayed up north because of the mosquitoes, the Indian attacks, the heat, the malaria, all the good stuff.
The mosquitoes are still keeping me wanting to go
right?
up north.
State
Yeah.
bird. That's our state bird. Mosquitoes.
I'm stealing that joke. That's mine now. Sorry, but I own that joke as well.
These people do.
I'm cracking that at work tomorrow.
So that one is just, that was the reality of it all. So when you got off the train, you went right across the street to that building. 1886 is not the address, but basically how long that building has been. You would go to go get your horse feed, your building supplies, then you would go out to the wild frontier and build your home. But at dusk, you would come back into town because of all the Indian attacks, the wild animals, and just hard day's work out in the Florida sun. Of course, the Strand Hotel would where you would come. And of course, drinking alcohol was going to be safer than drinking the water here.
Yeah.
So they would drink alcohol, and the next thing you know, there was a beautiful woman upstairs because your wife is not around. And 9 months later, you got a surprise package.
There you go.
9 months later, your house is also done.
Yep.
And your wife and children are coming, and it's going to be hard to explain that, yes, this is your stepbrother/sister, and they're part of the inheritance. Urban legend has it, I don't have proof of this, but in the walls, when they cracked some of the walls, they found bones, which would make sense.
Yeah.
Like I said, the women would disappear. We've investigated this building, and I can tell you, it is super creepy.
Oh, I
I've run
bet.
into children in here. You can hear them. We've had some great times. The Twinkle Twinkle Little Star story.
Do they not let you guys in here anymore?
Correct. They're renovating. Third floor is holes everywhere. So I've been in it and stuff like that. It's dangerous for people to go in right now.
Come along, friends.
When I first got into this, I used to think that the ghost couldn't come outside the building. So when I got scared, I would stand outside. They could come with me.
Honestly, I never.
That's like if I'm scared of the dark, I close my eyes and I'm like, well, nothing can come at me because my eyes are closed.
Or I shut the door and you get out.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I know them. She didn't hear my joke. Ting, you missed my joke. I was saying I feel like I know those people. It was your sign. Now the joke. Oh my gosh, is this Harry Buffalo?
It is.
Oh.
They left a mess.
Oh my gosh, they closed?
Yes.
Yeah,
We were
they
just
weren't
here.
Harry Buffaloes.
I've never been.
It's a huge. It was like a Orlando
Wow, that happened
staple
really fast.
for.
I feel like
And
we were just
April.
here.
They like just closed.
Wow.
You guys get to see this again building in its raw stages.
Look how slanted this is.
There's been some interesting
It would be
pictures on this highway.
creepier if it showed like like the square of the
Right.
face.
I will tell you, there's a lot of camera that do not do well up here. Come on in. I'll close that door. I'm going to give you guys your instruments so you guys can start investigating this room. This room has several haunted objects. Her teenage daughter, who did not even know they had the doll in the house, started having dreams of children drowning. Their cat was clawing at the hallway closet quite often. So they just left it at a haunted house and they just dumped it on the porch. and that's where the guy was doing his tour at, and they were doing the raffle. And that's how he
It
ended up
looks
with it.
haunted.
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
It is a boy. Everybody gets mistaken that it's in a christening dress kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
That right there.
I did it.
Picks
but-
up static electricity only. The mirror is from one of our guides. She collects antique mirrors and brushes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she just showed me randomly a picture
Me
of a mirror,
too.
and I said, don't buy it, don't get it.
Katie does that too.
I do that
And there
too.
is a long hair woman with brown hair past her knees that owns this. And she goes, that's exactly who I'm buying.
So
it.
bright. That's
She
all I
goes,
can see.
actually, I'm not even buying it. They are giving it to me for free. She didn't even charge me shipping. I go, that's what she's trying to get rid of this thing. The movie or television show Repossessed that was on Hulu,
Yeah.
the psychic lady didn't even see this mirror when I walked in. She goes, what's up with the mirror? And I was like, oh, what do you get off of it? She goes, don't get it. We hid this mirror in a room
Yeah.
randomly just to see who investigates the room. They didn't even know the mirror was in the room. People kept feeling touched on the head. Like
Oh
their parents
no.
stroke, like they'd been perfected. This coin was in a piano bench that was donated to a music school.
Mm-hmm.
The child was sitting on the bench, pushed back, the bench fell over, this coin rolled out. The school teacher picked it up, brought it home, and she said she felt very dizzy when it got home with her.
Yeah.
She gave us the coin. We did some research on it. The lady at that time had just passed away in February.
Whoa.
This is her, Miss Mabel. Again, that coin was hidden in one of the rooms, and when we played the alphabet game, the letter M came up.
Wow.
So it was very cool. And when the researcher goes, is this Miss Mabel? The light in her room dimmed. The most haunted object in this room, if I had to tell you, is going to be this table. And you can
Oh,
see this on our
good.
YouTube. That's why I put the pendulum there
Yes.
to see if it would swing on its own. That's why there's a game on the table. I'm going to roll the dice tonight, sir. And the number is 2. So if you want to flip the 2 down for me, that would be amazing. So this table is owned by an older gentleman. We believe he passed away of a stroke or a heart attack. This was in a thrift store, and the investigator that owned the doll, his wife loves to collect antiques. She likes to go in there. She said she kept circling this table, and she really, really wanted this table, and it was originally priced. So she decided to buy it, brought it home, didn't tell her husband about it. A few nights later, her dogs, who are normally calm, that sleep with her, and he's a police officer, so he's gone most of the night, so she's used. So
It's not
he
there.
is a police officer. He goes to work at nighttime, so their normally calm dog starts barking at the door. She's in bed by herself, and pretend this is the bedroom door, okay? She says her dog starts growling at the door. So she sits up, and she sees under the door of her bedroom
no.
somebody pacing back and forth.
Hard pass.
So she pulls the gun. Just how scared she is. Her husband is an officer. Pulls the gun out of her nightstand. She goes, I am armed. If you do not leave this house or this premises, I'm calling 911 right now. But she knows that her husband is at work and there's nobody else that's supposed to be in the home. She calls 911. He hears his own address come across the radio. So a whole bunch of squad cars come to the house. They surround the house. They look. They don't find any forcible entry. He comes into the bedroom. She is frightened. And she goes, there's somebody in her house. I saw them walking back and forth from the thing. And he goes, there's nobody here. There's nobody here.
Time to
So
move.
he calls out for the night, stays home with her. A couple of weeks later, the same thing happens again. But this time she doesn't call 911. She gets her gun. She goes, I'm armed. I'm armed. She sees somebody walking back and forth. She goes up to the door. She swings it open. Nobody is down the hallway. She gets back in bed with her dogs and everything.
Looking for me?
She stays up for the rest of the night until her husband comes home. And she goes, I think we have a ghost in our house. So he's like, really? So he breaks out all his equipment and everything points to this table. When we brought this to the movie or the TV show Hulu Repossessed, the lady picked up right away. It was a man. They sprayed a chemical on this table, and under this legs here, there's blood.
Oh my
Blood
gosh.
splatter on the table itself. There's a handprint underneath, if you guys want to look down there, but it is
Oh,
too
boy.
fuzzy for you to actually, for us to do any forensics on it. But you can actually see little blood stains on the table.
Oh my God.
Really? I need to get
You see the handprint? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a
So we don't
nope.
know the person that
Nope.
stained it.
Nope.
Just put his handprint under there, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But we tried to run forensics on it, we could not. But when they sprayed the chemical on it, it did test positive for blood. So we think he hit his head
Oh,
and blood splattered onto this. And I will tell you, we spent the night up here because we got permission from the owner because our ring camera kept going off at different times in the night. And I said, we had all these haunted objects up here, so we're going to spend the night.
Is it you? Are you haunted?
Nighttime, nothing happened. 7 o'clock in the morning, one of our investigators got up to go to the bathroom. It triggers the ring camera.
Can you turn on the light?
And next thing we know, a white light comes out of this table, runs up at the camera, around the corner, and disappears right in the camera. We know it's an intelligent haunt because we have air mattresses here, and it went around the air mattresses and disappeared in.
If you've made it this far, we are eternally grateful.
Welcome back. You made it. We're so proud.
We are.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, we thought we had a great time, and we thought it'd be funny and entertaining for you guys to see it too. As we always say on the podcast, make sure to like, follow, subscribe. Our account on here on YouTube is @WaitForRealPod. And also you can find us on social media. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And what else? We have...
Feel free to listen to us anywhere that you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Google.
We're everywhere.
It is the Wait for Real podcast if you're just coming onto YouTube to check us out. And
yeah. So we end our episodes the same way every time. So don't forget.
Go to therapy.
And don't forget to leave the lights on.
Cut.